Bright lights flicker on. Laughter echoes through empty halls, not the joyful kind, something sharper, something cruel. Somewhere in the Marvel universe, a door locks from the outside and survival becomes entertainment. This is not a battlefield, this is a stage. And the man behind the curtain is smiling, because for Arcade, death isn't chaos, death is choreography. In a universe filled with gods, monsters, and cosmic tyrants, one villain stands apart, not because of overwhelming power, but because of intention. Arcade doesn't conquer worlds. He doesn't reshape reality. He doesn't believe in destiny or prophecy. He believes in games. Arcade is the nightmare that comes wrapped in neon colors and carnival music. A genius without empathy. A child with unlimited resources and no moral compass. Where others fight for ideology or survival, Arcade kills for fun and calls it art. Tonight we step into Murderworld, not to explain it, not to escape it, but to understand the man who built it. Because Arcade isn't just a villain you defeat. He's a reminder of something darker, that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones who are enjoying themselves. Arcade's past is deliberately fragmented by design. He lies about it, rewrites it, plays with it like one of his puzzles. But the truth buried beneath the jokes and theatrics is unsettlingly simple. Arcade is born into wealth, extreme wealth, the kind that insulates you from consequence, from empathy, from reality. As a child, he is brilliant, an engineering prodigy with an obsession for machines, traps, and elaborate designs. But what he lacks is something far more basic, the ability to care. While other children learn right from wrong, Arcade learns cause and effect. Push a button, watch what happens, pull a lever, someone screams. His parents try to control him, to discipline him, to mold him into something acceptable. They fail. One day, they simply disappear, murdered in an accident that leaves Arcade richer, freer, and completely unaccountable. With money as his shield and genius as his weapon, Arcade builds his first true love, Murderworld. A sprawling, mobile death trap disguised as an amusement park. Bright lights, funhouse mirrors, hidden blades beneath the floor, every corridor a riddle, every smile a lie. At first, it's theoretical, then experimental, then real. When Arcade realizes he can get paid to kill, paid to design death for powerful clients, his identity crystallizes. He isn't an assassin, he's a showrunner. And the world, whether it likes it or not, is his audience. Arcade's evolution isn't about redemption or corruption. It's about refinement. Early on, his games are crude, dangerous, but messy. Heroes escape. Victims survive, and Arcade hates imperfection. Each failure becomes fuel. Each loss sharpens his cruelty. He begins targeting the best. The X-Men, the Avengers, Captain Britain, heroes who have faced gods and lived, now trapped in rooms rigged with saw blades and poisoned floors. Arcade watches from behind glass, sipping drinks, taking notes. What makes Arcade terrifying isn't that he fights heroes, it's that he studies them. Their teamwork, their emotional bonds, their weaknesses. He designs scenarios not just to kill bodies, but to break spirits. Choices where saving one teammate condemns another. Mazes where trust becomes a liability. Over time, Arcade's obsession deepens. Murderworld becomes more elaborate, more personal, less about money, more about validation. He wants heroes to acknowledge him, to fear him, to remember him. But there's a crack beneath the laughter. Arcade begins to lose control. His arrogance grows faster than his precision. Heroes escape again and again, and each failure pushes him toward greater extremes. He turns Murderworld into a symbol, not just a trap, a statement that intelligence, not strength, rules the universe. Yet beneath the confidence lies something fragile. Arcade doesn't hate heroes because they oppose him. He hates them because they survive. Because no matter how perfect his games are, life refuses to follow his script. And that failure, the inability to control the ending, slowly drives him deeper into obsession. One of Arcade's most infamous chapters unfolds when he traps the X-Men inside Murderworld. The halls glow with artificial cheer, clowns smile from painted walls, and every step forward triggers something lethal. The X-Men don't fight enemies here, they fight exhaustion, fear, doubt. Arcade's traps are relentless, forcing them to split, to choose, to suffer alone. He taunts them through speakers, mocking their ideals, reducing their heroism to punchlines. And yet they endure, not because they're stronger than the traps, but because they trust each other, something Arcade can never understand. Another chilling saga comes when Arcade targets younger heroes, teenagers who haven't yet learned how cruel the world can be. In these stories, Murderworld becomes even more disturbing. Not a test of power, but of innocence. Arcade delights in watching hope crack under pressure, treating emotional trauma as just another special effect. Later arcs show Arcade aligning with larger villain communities, not as a subordinate but as a contractor. When kings and conquerors need heroes removed quietly, Arcade offers spectacle instead of slaughter. But these alliances never last. Arcade can't share the spotlight. He sabotages, betrays, and undermines because cooperation bores him. Perhaps his most unsettling appearances come when Murderworld is rebuilt again and again. New versions, new locations, new aesthetics. Each one reflects Arcade's deteriorating mental state. The games grow crueler, the humor darker. The line between entertainment and obsession disappears. Through it all, one constant remains. Arcade survives, not through strength but through escape. He vanishes at the last moment, laughing, already planning the next show. Arcade has no superpowers, and that's the point. His true weapon is intellect, engineering genius paired with psychological cruelty. He designs traps that anticipate hero behavior, exploits emotional bonds, and turns teamwork into vulnerability. Physically, Arcade is unimpressive. When confronted directly, he panics. He runs, he hides. Murderworld is his armor. Without it, he's fragile. Personality-wise, Arcade is narcissism incarnate. He craves attention, validation, and reaction. He masks insecurity with humor, cruelty with theatrics. He doesn't believe in good or evil, only winners and losers. Yet beneath the jokes lies fear. Fear of irrelevance, fear of being ordinary. Arcade needs his games because without them, he's just a man with nothing inside. Arcade represents a different kind of Marvel villain. He isn't driven by ideology, trauma, or destiny. He's driven by boredom. In a universe obsessed with power, Arcade reminds us that intelligence without empathy is just another form of monstrosity. Murderworld has become a recurring symbol in Marvel, a place where heroism is stripped of spectacle and reduced to survival. He influences how Marvel explores psychological horror, ethical dilemmas, and the vulnerability of heroes outside traditional combat. Arcade doesn't test strength, he tests resolve. And that makes him unforgettable. Arcade will never rule the world. He will never sit on a throne, and that's exactly how he wants it. Because kings fall, gods die, but the man behind the curtain, he just builds another stage. Somewhere the lights are flickering on again, the doors are locking, and Arcade is smiling because the game is never over. Welcome to Murderworld, and thanks for playing.